All right, so I have just seen the latest Disney animated movie, Wish. Kind of funny how DreamWorks and Disney, who are two rival animation studios, release a new movie around the same time. I just think it's funny like that. As you can see by the clothes I'm wearing, I saw this on the same day that I saw Trolls. So unfortunately for, myself and Disney, I was not a huge fan of this movie, which is unfortunate because I was really rooting for this movie. Disney animation has a very special place in my childhood and my nostalgia. I kind of grew up watching a lot of animated Disney movies, and so I want them to be good. I want them to be successful. But unfortunately, lately, they've been kind of lackluster. In the past couple of years, the only Disney animated movie that I think has been really good recently is probably Encanto, and that's about it. Raya and the Last Dragon didn't really do it for me. Frozen 2 didn't really do it for me, and I didn't even bother seeing Strange World. That tells you how bad the situation has gotten over at Disney. So I was really rooting for this movie. They brought back a classic villain by the looks of the trailers, which is something that fans have been wanting for. We want to have the classic Disney villains back. And I will say that is a highlight of this movie. Chris Pine plays the bad guy, and he should play the bad guy more often because clearly he loves it. He was cackling it up. He was having a great time. Chris Pine, we all know Chris Pine can sing, and so his villain song is really catchy, and he's really one of the highlights. The main actress as well, Ariana DeBose, I believe is her name. She's pretty good as well. She's got a really good set of pipes. She was in Hamilton. She was in West Side Story, and so she's a really good main heroine here. She's got a really good singing voice, and she's really good as well. The animation is spectacular. They do a lot of cool storybook style animation with it kind of looks like watercolors, but not quite. Nothing as spectacular as like Across the Spider-Verse, but still good for Disney standards. They're kind of pushing the boundaries a little bit. It's not the normal, Frozen or Big Hero 6, Moana type of animation. Not that that animation's bad, but we've seen it a lot now. So they're kind of experimenting more a little bit, which is nice to see. But unfortunately, this movie is very, very, how do I put it? It's trying to pull on your nostalgia strings way too hard. They really sacrifice character development and interesting elements for stuff that should remind you of the old Disney movies. The movie opens a lot like the old Disney movies of the 40s and the 50s. There's a lot of Easter eggs and cameos, which I thought were fun at first, but they just keep hammering them in. And it's weird that the longer the movie goes, the more obvious they make the Easter eggs. It's like we're not smart enough to recognize the Easter eggs when we see them. So, and I thought that was kind of weird because I was seeing the Easter eggs near the beginning of the movie, but by the end of the movie, it's like, well, in case you didn't notice, we're just going to tell you that this is what this is supposed to be right now. And it's really, they're not trying to hide it at all. And it just really frustrates me because instead of just reminding us about how good Disney used to be, try to be as good as it used to be instead of just reminding us. That's the problem with this movie and the live action remakes is just they're pulling on our nostalgia, right? We love movies like Beauty and the Beast and The Lion King and The Little Mermaid, Aladdin, and even modern stuff like Frozen and Zootopia. Those were good movies. Wreck-It Ralph, Tangled. But lately they've just been kind of riding their own coattails of nostalgia and all this goodwill that we have for what they've done in the past. That they're not making anything that is that good right now in the future. They're trying to rely on our goodwill. And unfortunately, it's working. These live action remakes are making $1 billion. This movie I don't know how successful it will be, but it probably will be pretty successful. It's a Disney animated movie. I also found the message to be very interesting and very indicative of the times. So if you've seen the trailers, you know that this movie is about wishes. The movie's called Wish, and it's about wishing on a star. And I found it interesting that the writers of this movie decided to take the idea of higher powers and completely throw that in the garbage. Because the concept of wishing on a star implies that you are relying on some sort of higher power to fulfill your wish for you. And the writers of this movie kind of wanted to get rid of that. If you look at the lyrics for Disney's theme song, When You Wish Upon a Star, it talks a lot about destiny and about fate, and relying on that sort of stuff to kind of make your wishes come true. And they really wanted to emphasize that it's not a higher power, it's not destiny, it's not fate, it's all on you to make your wishes come true. They even wrote a whole song about how technically when you wish upon a star, since they use this logic of since, we're all made out of dust and technically stars are dust, and, they believe that, we all exploded into existence, so technically we're stars. So when you make a wish on a star, you're a star. So you're basically making a wish on you. You're wishing yourself to, achieve your dreams or whatever. And, relying on yourself to achieve your dreams is not a bad message in and of itself necessarily. I just found it very fascinating that the writers really wanted to emphasize that if you rely on anybody else and you give your wishes to anybody else, then that's bad. You should not rely on anybody or anything, and you can only rely on yourself to make your dreams come true. So that message is kind of weird. They really wanted to make it self-centered focused. So honestly, the movie's a little disappointing to me. I much prefer the classic Disney stuff, and I'm not against modern Disney. They made Encanto 2 years ago, and that was good. Zootopia was good, Moana was good. Unfortunately, this one was not. So hopefully Disney from this moment forward kind of looks to the future and learns from the past and sees what worked in the older movies, like Cinderella and, Beauty and the Beast, and even stuff like Emperor's New Groove, Hercules, Tarzan, those more obscure movies, and try to recreate that magic instead of just reminding us of that magic. So yeah, unfortunately, not a recommendation from me on the Disney side either. You can wait to watch it on Disney Plus if you want. If you're a Disney fan, you might want to check it out just for the Easter eggs. But yeah, not a great movie, unfortunately. So yeah.